Okay, so I can't be the only one that saw those death flags. Massive, massive death flags in this episode. Like, the death flags were freaking high. Okay, I'm just gonna point them out. I want to say right now, Kana, she is going to get herself killed. I'm just saying it right now. I can easily see those death flags. It is so freaking obvious. Like, at the beginning of this episode, that entire dream sequence, when she's, like, running in a field of flowers and it turns, like, into, like, dead type flowers and stuff, very symbolic. Very, very symbolic. That entire scene at the beginning of this episode reminded me of Tokyo Ghoul. I'm not going to go in depth why, but the flower scene reminded me a lot of Tokyo Ghoul, and I was like, oh shit, is that where Ishida got his inspiration from? Because this episode, that death flag on Kana was massive, because there seems to be something very interesting building up here. These humans, these certain individual humans that can actually sense certain wavelengths, as it's already been told a couple episodes back. We already know about this. We do know that Kana and Murano can actually sense these wavelengths. And the thing is, with the last little dream sequence in this episode, Murano actually brings up something very interesting. The flashback or whatever we see with her dream. In her dream, Murano, not Kana, not the beginning dream, but the later dream in this episode, she sees this monster creature in her mind, and it's supposedly her dream, and it was Hideo from last episode when he transformed and went on a rampage. It was straight up fucking Hideo, and I'm like, whoa, 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 why is she seeing Hideo? Why? Like, why? Here's the thing. This is what I want to say. I want to Fury Craft right now. This is me Fury Crafting. I personally believe either A, these abilities, whatever these certain individual humans, the reasons for their abilities, I don't know. But these people with these abilities, either A, they are kind of like Migi, they can sense each other's kind, but they can actually have visual thoughts. For instance, they can actually see it, what's going on if they are in a dream. Or B, they can see the present, and they can also see the future. Maybe like they have some form of foretelling or like foresight for the future. That's probably what it could possibly be, because the beginning segment of this episode, it made me feel like maybe Kana is going to get surrounded by parasites and then she's going to be swarmed at and killed. Because the flower scene, the way it was done, with Izumi coming in to save her, it felt way, way too out of place in this episode. Like, I mean, I know what it was supposed to represent for this episode. It's supposed to represent that Kana has developing feelings for Izumi, but I personally believe that this beginning scene has a lot more importance to the series than it's actually being led on to believe. I personally believe that is a massive death flag, and also Murano also got her death flag with being able to see stuff like that too. So, looking past that, let's talk about the other things actually building up with this episode of Parasite. Okay, so parasites, now the current parasites, I'm guessing, in the top up in organizations government of Japan, they're experimenting. For instance, you have this one parasite get out of this car, and he looks like a big fucking buff wrestling type dude. Kind of reminds me of the dude of Hunter x Hunter. I forget the dude's name. You know, the teacher dude or whatever that was doing the dodgeball match in Hunter x Hunter? That's exactly what that guy reminded me of. He gets out, and he has like these just freaking sports shirt on and pants on. I'm like, what the fuck? He just walks in, and you see this mafia dude like, what are you doing here and all that? And he just slams his mafia dude's head into the concrete. You see the concrete convulging, and you see the dude's head squishing like a fucking, oh my god, like a pie or a pumpkin. It was just like, dude, that's brutal. Fucking brutal. And then he goes inside. Like, at first, I was thinking, like, maybe this parasite was wanting to talk with the boss. Like, the mafia head boss or something. And maybe he was just wanting to strike a deal. That's what I thought was going to happen. But as one event led to another, this parasite started counting, like, 1. Every time they did a hit on him, he would start counting up. And he's like, when he got, like, hit in the leg, he's like, 1. Got hit, like, in the chest or whatever, he got, like, he said 2. He got, like, sliced in the head, he says 3. And I'm like, holy crap. And then after we find out he kills everybody, supposedly what he was doing was, he was testing humans. He was testing humans and seeing how far they could go when they verse humans with guns and weapons and firearms and stuff. They were wanting to see how much damage they can do. Now, at the end of this little fight, supposedly this single parasite raided this, like, mafia hideout. I don't know if this was the head honcho of the mafia hideout or if this was a little quarter of the mafia hideout. But either way, to take down a mafia hideout by yourself, which is just fucking ridiculous, and this parasite killed 22 humans, killed 22 gang members that were all armed. Well, the first guy didn't stand a chance. He just got his brains crunched in. Like, he didn't even see it fucking coming. Like, I mean, if you're that dude, if you're that mafia dude at the door, would you have saw that coming? I bet he didn't even feel any pain time was over. His face just got, like a pie. Dude, it was brutal. So, I guess 21 people got destroyed. Like I said, the first guy, he doesn't count because he was a demonstration. Okay, so the other parts. So finding out that these parasites are wanting to test humans, like they're wanting to test and see how far they can go against like firearms and stuff, it brings up something very interesting. My reasons for why they're probably going to be doing this is because they want to see how much they can resist against humanity. For instance, if humanity finds out about their secrets, how far can these parasites go to wipe out armies? I think that's exactly what the parasites were trying to do in this entire episode. They're trying to figure out, like, how much military might do they need on the parasite side to versus humans. That's what I think they're trying to do, because, I mean, they're thinking of the long, like, goal. Like, they're looking at the grand scheme of things. They're like, how can we increase our survival rate? We do need to test out and see if we can survive against human conflict, and that's what they're exactly doing. Also, with the parasites moving up into higher forms of government, especially with this episode, like elections and stuff, it shows you that they can easily integrate into society and become like a top politician, a president, or whatever, you know, a parasite wants to do, and they can rule the entire country. That's pretty much what parasites are doing at the moment, and that's actually pretty fucking scary, because these parasites moving into higher statuses of the government, they will barely get touched if they get too high up, especially if they get into some massive organization like the Illuminati or something. I'm just saying. Anyways, episode though, it has a lot of setup. That's pretty much what this episode is. It leads to romance conflict, like the conflict of romance between Kana and Izumi and Murano. Oh, that romance conflict. We had to have Kana see Murano and Izumi kiss, because if Kana wasn't there, we would not have that romance conflict like we do need. So this right overall, with the ending part of this episode, with that romance conflict, that's going to lead probably into a death flag. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, with the overall symbolism of the flowers, the knight on a shining, like, white steed and stuff like that, yeah. That's a fucking death flag. Like, I'm sorry, I'm an anime only watcher, but I could tell. I've seen enough, and since this is a seinen manga, I could see that. So, overall, episode. I would give this episode an 8.5 or 9 out of 10. It was a damn good episode. A lot of setup, a lot of questions, and one thing, though, actually, I want to do before I end this review. That hair fad. What the fuck, dude? Like, what the fuck? Like, are you kidding me? Like, right at the beginning of this episode. Right at the beginning of this episode. I said it last week. I said it last week. Right at the end of my last review. I said that hair fad is going to get someone fucking killed. And guess what? Right at the beginning of this episode. Less than 2 minutes. Less than 2 minutes. That girl gets wrecked. Gets freaking wrecked. I saw it. There is no way that was going to work. They're just killing people. Like, who in the fuck didn't think that through? Like, that is the stupidest plan. I mean, if you're by yourself and you pull someone's hair out, they're gonna fucking wreck you. Enough said. I called it last week. I fucking called that. It was obvious. I mean, anyone could have called that, but I mean, still. Like, that death was pointless. It could have been... Anyways, you all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.